Inglewood, California. How are you doing today? I can say, and I will report in, that the Green Believers is here to stay. The Green Believers is an organization that is based in the community, and we do social equity, and we do reentry, and we do a number of other things that to make that this program will last for decades to come. The Green Believers is an organization that believes in the people, and we do everything in our power to bring understanding and happiness to the world. The Green Believers is a part of social equity, and when they say, hey, we can't get our license, the Green Believers spring into action. As the city is letting up, the Green Believers position themselves to be that champion for the people in the neighborhood. Everybody asks the question is, are you guys real? Do you guys really know what you're doing? Are you really out for the people to help the people? And the Green Believers smile. Because the conversations we're having is about the people. It's never about the Green Believers. Because the Green Believers is an organization that is here to help solve problems in the community. And as Cheryl Brencher would say, life been through all kind of different wrenches at you. And if you stand on the sideline and don't pay attention, life's gonna pass you by. I don't have the time for this world to pass me by. You know, I am part and I present from Whitey's Enterprise, the Green Believers. I am Whitey from Whitey's Enterprise. And recently, I've been attacking in a different manner. I'm not attacking the weed industry. I'm attacking the CBD industry. I'm attacking the food industry. So I know you have heard and people have talked about it. That's just popping. It's on 25th and Central. The address is 1030 East 25th Street. Excuse me. And I can say they got some of the best tasting wings in town. And they got some burgers, some turkey burgers that almost melt in your mouth. You may not even have to eat them yourself. Just make this melt there. And they got hamburgers. They do the same thing. And then it's a twist because they got this crazy, crazy sauce that's on the burgers that make you want to come back and wonder how was it made. And then if you're a sweet junkie, they got a banana pudding. It's off the chain. This little hamburger stand on 25th and Central is off the hook for real. It's fire down there. And if you get a chance after this show, find a way down and you would love the result that you receive from this little hamburger stand. Did I say it was black owned? Yes, I can officially say that Whitey's Enterprise and Associates, that Whitey represent, is in the move of bringing the East Side back to where it used to be. We're going to have to do it in the resale industry because that's the only place that we know that everybody need to be because they need to have something to eat. They've been deprived of black cooking for a very long time. There's no soul food restaurants on that end. There's no hamburger stands from, let's be honest, from downtown all the way to Florence. But now, just now, as Whitey woke up, and the people asked the magic question, Whitey, why is not a hamburger stand in town, and you hollering about you a community organizer, and you can't organize us a burger stand? Well, the Green Believers just pivot, and they looked at Whitey. They said, you Mr. Whitey, you said that you know what you're doing. You said that this right here is what you were seeking. And Whitey just looked at him and said, well, show me a burger stand and I'll open it. Show me a plan and I'll put it together. So they walked up to me one day about 3 months ago and said, the burger stand is on 1030 East 25th Street. It's there. Put up a shut up. I said, you guys talking to me like when you guys told me that the Green Believers had to be written. And I told them it's not going to happen. And I told them again that whatever happens with me, I'm going to do it. So here we are today. And I'm telling you, without hesitation, without no remorse, that Whitey's Enterprise is here to play the game of life. So I turned around and I did the impossible. I got the hamburger stand open in 40 days. And it's the best taking hamburger stands in town. So open your eyes, open your mouth, and go step down to the Just Poppin' on 25th. And you will find some of the best tasting hamburgers in town. And the chicken wings, oh my God, that is off the chain. But we're going to talk about that a little farther in the episode.
No, let's keep talking about that right now. I am hungry.
You hungry again? This Mr. Ira Tillman. You know, and life dealt him so many different hands that I sat back and looked at him the other day when I was coming off the plane. And he looked at me, I looked at him, he said, just popping, huh? I'm like, yeah, it's popping, baby. But you popping too because you got some episodes coming on, your books is out, and it's going down.
Yes, it is.
It's going down. So, no further ado, my crime partner, my partner in the publicist business, in the movie business, in the business of life is on my side. Mr. Ira Tillman. Give him a hand, please.
Thank you. Thank you. I just want to back up Whitey's statement on that best hamburger in town. I generally don't endorse anybody's food, but I got to tell you, since I've eaten there, I haven't eaten any place else. So I got partners that I have come pick me up. I introduce them to your place, and then they're buying.
Yeah, they buying.
So I'm eating every day on somebody else's dime, but I got to take them from the west side to the east side to get the best burger that I taste in this town. Better than A1 Burger, better than Master Burger. I wouldn't even think about going. Your cook, your chef, is gifted. That's what I can tell you.
Oh, he's off the chain.
And, the fries, I go for fries. That's what gets me. I love hamburgers, but I go to a place because of their fries. Your fries are A1 and the best. So I'm not going to sit here and make myself hungry by I'm going there today. So so as soon as we finish here, I'm headed straight to 25th in Central. And that's a great idea you guys had going over there, and it's the food is going to keep people coming back. And I'm like I said, I'm crisscrossing town. I'm passing 100 hamburger stands just to get to yours.
Yes, I thank you for coming too.
No problem.
You know, this is what you call the travels of life. They told me once a long time ago, like, Whitey, you got OG status, and I remind them what an OG was. Some people have a misunderstanding what OG really stands for. But OG really stands for, in my sight, in my eyesight, only in mine. Don't get a misunderstanding, fellas. The statue that you carry, you should go down to your little homeboys and pick them up and put them in the business of life to make sure they never go to jail. That's what an OG really do. He makes sure that he look out for them and mold them in a different manner that he was molded in, so they would never spend that time in a jailhouse saying, man, I forfeited my life. An OG is there to look out for his little homeboys in all manners, and he's supposed to be there to make sure that his homeboys don't go off the wrong side of the street. When I say the wrong side of the streets, sometimes the homeboys sometimes influence them to do wrong because they have this status. But being an OG, a real OG, you don't want the same thing for your little homeboys that you experienced in those jailhouses. You want a little bit more. You want them to be able to walk in their business, sit behind the counter, just like white America do with their children, and let them grow. And when they grow, they start growing bigger and bigger. And they cultivate new friendships with different people. And when you cultivate a friendship with a different person every day of your life, you find yourself understanding that you have an opportunity to blossom in the more than your father was, your grandfather was. You're going to blossom, and you're going to be ready to put this experience to your kids. And your kids going to blossom off of you because they know you are doing the right thing. This is what an OG is supposed to do. His status is supposed to be so high that no one can question him because he's doing what is right for the community. That's why when Ira come here, I light up, because he had that mystique that to tell me, homie, I'm putting on a show. Pay attention. I got 10 books in my hand. I'm putting on a show. And I'm telling them, man, you don't have to go run in that jewelry store. You can pick up this pen and paper. And I'm going to go back to Ira again, because this is what he do every day of his life. He be on that computer all night, just punching and punching and punching, till he get the story that he's seeking. And he cultivate it so it can mean something. Like he always say, man, this is the hood. And I'm telling the hood story.
Exactly. I got to tell you, I finished the Hugh Jackson story. Hugh Jackson is the ex-Raider head coach, the ex-Raider football professional head coach, and the Cleveland Brown head coach. And I did his life story. We almost had a parallel book race. He's doing his own coaching story. We had met back in September, and I told him that I asked him could I do his story, and he said yes, but he's doing his story from the business aspect of football, the actual nuts and bolts of his grind. And I got into some of that too, but I went into his life story from when he first started being interested in football, from 7, 8 years old until the present day. And it was a 1,000-pound gorilla off my back 2-3 days ago. I just published it. We're lining up all the pictures that we're putting in the book now. It should be out at the beginning of June. And believe me, that was a monumental task.
That's great.
It was an 8-month write, research and write from August of 2020 until just a few days ago. So it was a task for me, but I loved it, and I'm on vacation now. That's where I feel. It's like I don't know what to do with myself. I wrote every day until 3 to 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning sometimes, and I did that for 7 months.
Wow.
That's the only way you're gonna kick out a book. When somebody tells me they're writing a book, I say, you're not unless you're up wee hours of the morning doing what I do.
Okay. All right, we got a call in.
Go ahead.
Let's get this call. Hey, what's up, caller? How you doing today?
I'm doing well. My name is Francois Aloysius, and I've been hearing a lot about the LA Chronicles and all that it's supposed to be about. And I was just calling in to see what type of impact and what kind of input that it is going to have. And like I was telling the other brother, I was raised in Los Angeles, right over there off of 41st between Hoover and Figueroa, and I know about the city, and I'm just interested to know what it's all about.
Well, Ira motivated me in the last year, and we are getting ready to talk about LA Chronicles. I've been holding back, fellas. LA Chronicles is getting ready to come off the shelf. LA Chronicles is about the life and the stories of Marshalls on the east side. Marshall's on the west side, but I came from off the east side. And in 1978, me and Benzo L introduced the crack cocaine era to the other people in the city. And when we introduced this era, people had to stand in line for a few years before they understood what was going on. And when they heard and seen the roadblock that me and Benzo L put down, it was like an explosion of money. And everybody in the city, from the Benzo L's, from the LaRue's, from the Daves, from the Skippies, from the Mikes, the Tommies, you know, it's so many people got involved in the cocaine era. And from this time, from 1978 all the way to 1985, the town heard so much about Whitey's Enterprise. And Whitey's Enterprise was associated with so many different people because he was a kingmaker. And he made so many kings in L.A. that the whole city was trying to figure out how to catch up with Whitey. Whitey was an old, young, skinny little kid. And he had a thought pattern that if he could take this cocaine and transfer it from powder to rocks and make it cheaper for the people in the neighborhood, all of them could end up getting some money so they could feed their families. And when they did that right there, an avalanche of players got involved in the game, and they became LA Finest. So we talking about LA Chronicles at his finest. We had Ira over there with the Cobra Enterprise crew. So it was so many different people involved in this movement that it became shocking all over the United States, because we started moving in different states and we started doing different things. It was like the Crips and the Bloods just exploding out in these states. It's like, what happened? But they left LA with cocaine in their hand, and they became multi-millionaires. And this is what LA Chronicles is all about. LA Chronicles is about the history of South Central LA. So Ira can speak on this.
Okay.
So Ira can speak on a little bit of this with no hesitation. I'm gonna let him do that also, because he came from Cobra Enterprise.
I have a book I've written. It's called Super Thieves. It's out right now on Amazon and Borders, but it tells you about the same era as Whitey Enterprises, crack cocaine era, and I was the head of a jury crew, a crew of cats off the West Side, as the title of the book, 40 Thieves from the West Side of Los Angeles that started the LA Bash Posse, and all we did was line them up, and I'm talking about jewelry stores, and knock them down across the country. We were the first ones to do it like we did it, and we created the need for GPS and the need for cameras and stoplights. That was all an influx, a result of the proliferation of Cobra Enterprise going across the country, the LA Bash Posse going across the country, and we were jewel thieves. But we did it on a large scale, one that will never be repeated. Nobody's ever done it like this, and nobody ever, it's not even possible anymore because of the parameters they set up to stop us.
Right.
But the story can be told, and it's one of the hottest books on the street, and within the system. It's called Super Thieves by Ira Tillman. That's Tillman. Look it up.
Okay.
And it's a page turner, and I dare you to put it down once you start it. That's what I do.
All right.
All right, baby.
I appreciate that. I remember that era like it was yesterday.
Right.
And I look forward to reading that book, as well as anticipating the coming of L.A. Chronicles. I appreciate that, gentlemen.
So, you know, the L.A. Chronicles, let me finish it up about the L.A. Chronicles. The L.A. Chronicles is presented by Whitey's Enterprise. And on top of it is L.A. Chronicles, a birth of an empire. And this empire, what I'm talking about, is the people that came merging together to make L.A. what it really was. And when we used to go to Caesar's Palace, it'd be so many people lined up just to look at the young dudes from L.A. who was jumping out of Rolls Royces and Ferraris. And they were saying, what do they get different from us? And I always said, it's just the soil we walked on. L.A. Finest, L.A. Chronicles. It's the birth of empire. So that's what you will be hearing about in the next month. It will be out. And I will have a paperback down here in this office. And I'm going to have a crazy book signing party, because you're going to understand that every player who was in the 80s and the 70s is going to be tuned in because they want to hear about the story that they love so much. So that's what LA Chronicles was. Thanks for calling in, my brother.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right. Yeah, Ira. So, it's like what we're doing is what we're doing, and we're not going to stop doing what we're doing because the stories must be told.
Yeah.
And if someone think that we're going to turn a blind eye to anything about our history, they mistaken. That's why I sit back and I look at you and it's like, ooh, he's doing it. He's doing it. He's doing it well. And the rest of the world is saying, how is he doing this? And I'm saying he taking pieces of what he did and he merging it inside a book to tell a story that LA been claiming for. They've been waiting for someone to tell these kind of stories without like putting everything on them like they ran LA when they know good and well it's not one person ran LA. That's the crazy part that I don't get.
There's a lot of kings out here.
Yes.
There's, everybody's has their own corner of this LA world, and some are welcome in each other's corners, like me and you.
Yes.
And some aren't.
That's right.
But we take what we learned over the years, and we're enlightening the people now, and we're paving a new way. I have an offer from Hillionaire Productions. They're in the South, Florida, Atlanta based, but they're connected to Tyler Perry, and they've given me a pilot to put together, a television show, and said they want it by June. I pitched them an idea of a woman that I met. She's an investigator, and her lifestyle and what she does for a living is so interesting to me that I said, this is a show, this is a movie. And I pitched it to Jamie McCoy, who is the executive producer, and she said, I love the story, and we'll give you a pilot. It shocked me, knocked me down. I said, what? You'll give me I'm going to give me your own show. So that's what I'm out here doing. We got to go down to San Diego and talk to the subject of this pilot, and it's going to be one of the best shows. I guarantee you, once we put it together and it's operating on its own, the machinery is moving. It's going to be one of these shows where there's a reason to tune in every week. NCIS like, and I'm hoping it has that type of longevity. But it's a courtroom and street drama at the same time.
That's a great thing because, man, it's just been a roller coaster ride for myself. I've been sitting back. I'm affiliated with Stowfall. So many people know I am, and it's just Stowfall to me. And it's a prince from Persia, and he want to have a sit down with me so we could have a conversation based on the 80s. And when you're talking about what's based on the 80s, you're saying, Whitey, how you going to tell this story? But I'm going to tell the story about Wizard. I'm going to tell the story about Renee McGowan. I'm going to tell the story about Dirt Red. I'm going to tell the story about DJ. I'm going to tell all the stories that other people can't tell. And this is what I'm going to do. Every day I'm going to do these stories. I'm going to tell these stories. And I'm going to let everybody know that these stories, what I'm telling, is stories of the truth. And the truth will set you free. The truth will let you know who is the major players in this game. And the major players in this game is dudes like Black Dave, dudes like LaRue, dudes like Cadillac Bobby, dudes like Gigolo, dudes like Skippy, dudes like Tommy, dudes like Little Redhead Tommy, dudes like Cadillac Will, dudes like Archibald, dudes like Time. It's so many different stories that you can tell. And Cubone and those other dudes, they there to be heard. So this is how we're going to tell these stories. And we're going to tell these stories on the fact that these were major players in the neighborhood in South Central LA. Yes, how can I help you? Talk to me.
Yo, Whitey, when the book coming out, L.A. Chronicles? I've been waiting for it. When that's coming?
Well, like I told everybody in the world, L.A. Chronicles, this is time for me to tell the stories about all the major players in L.A. I'm not going to let someone diminish the rest of these mighty great players that played on the battlefield, who had boxes of money. They never got credit. These dudes always had their own money to spend. And they played on the front line. They never told on nobody. And they played the game so strong, so viciously, that everybody lined up and saluted them when they seen them at personal touch or classy wheels. Or when they came to Caesar's Palace, everybody just looked like, look at these young millionaires. And it was just so many of us. And we had our own money. It would cost $60,000 for a key of cocaine at that time. And sometimes people say, how is it possible that these dudes can have this kind of money and everybody else in the city is broke? And again, these dudes had their own car lots. These dudes had their own car washes. These dudes had their own clothing stores. These dudes had everything that everybody else was looking for. So yes, the LA Chronicles will be out, and it will be out real soon. So hold on to your horses. Give me a couple more weeks, because it's right now is in paper, being written on paper. And these dudes like Black Tommy keep pushing me, because he just wrote America Prisoner, saying you got to have something in your hand to represent South Central LA.
Mm-hmm.
Since you call yourself Mr. Whitey, the Kingmaker, you need to tell them about all the kings that you made in the game in South Central LA. So this how we do it. This how we will always do it. That's why I got a storyteller on the side of me today to further along his storytelling talent is Mr. Ira from Covert Enterprise. So how can I say that I can't be with another king on the podcast that I have? And on the top of that, this podcast, what I'm on right now, I'm getting ready to bring another one up. It's about Whitey, a federal prisoner, reaching out to the rest of the federal prisoners and say how far we're going to go in America when we take it over. So here go my man, Ira.
Yes, and you want to read, you want an exciting read, L.A. Chronicles is going to be it. In the meantime, there's a book called Super Thieves. It's on Amazon, Borders. Guarantee you, if you start reading that and you put it down, then I will give you your money back. You will not put it down. Okay? You can order it right off of Amazon. It's by Ira Tillman. Yeah, all my books have come up. I have 10 books on Amazon right now. But Super Thieves is the one about me and my lifestyle and what got me to this point. I have several books, fictional detective series called Something's Wrong with Liz, the Peterson Group, and Hangar 19. They're negotiating with me and talking to me right now about turning that 3-book series into a television series. And
okay.
And it's
that's great.
It's
definitely got to check that out.
I got heat.
All right, thanks for calling in, my brother. I got another call
All
here.
right.
Appreciate you dearly.
Sure.
Hit me back up.
Appreciate you.
All right, thank you.
I will do.
All right.
Thank you.
My brother, what's going on? This is Whitey from Whitey's Enterprise. How can I help you today with something special?
Hi, how you doing, brother? My name is Gerald Lee, and I just wanted to call in and just wondering when L.A. Chronicles is finally coming out, my brother.
Well, Mr. Eaton, I can't say. I can't officially put it on notice because my goddaughter, she's finishing up. And she told me the book should be ready by May 19th, somewhere in there. Ooh. And it's all about, it's some heat. It's some heat about South Central LA. It's some heat about where everybody dreamed that they couldn't go to when they were talking about the jungle. They couldn't walk in the jungle because they didn't understand. They ain't talking about the Jamaican LA war when we was down in the jungles fighting that war with the Jamaicans just to get them off the block. You know, they ain't gonna, nobody
Yes,
can't
sir.
talk about these kind of wars. They can't talk about the wars with Third World and Whitey's Enterprise. They have no idea about these kind of wars. They can't talk about the wars of L.A. and Compton. They don't know nothing about these wars. They don't know nothing about when we went in the valley and took the valley over and made the valley ours. People don't understand what Whitey's Enterprise, that hand reached it so far. And in the process, they started making kings all on the west side. And those kings came up, and they was doing everything that everybody wanted to do. And they went from riding the bus to riding Rolls Royces and Ferraris. This what's going on today in this story, what we telling. L.A. Chronicles is about the birth of a empire. Yes, this empire is being birthed by Whitey's Enterprise, and we're trying to make sure that the Crips and Bloods understand that when they walked off the streets of South Central L.A. in 1983, it wasn't no wars between no Bloods and Crips. They was too busy getting money and getting rich. This how it went down in the 80s, and I'm bringing it to the light. I'm letting everybody know that the only way you can be successful is you have a great leader who understands that it's okay to share. And I'm sharing everything with them. Right now, today, I'm going to share the stories. I'm not going to be stingy and be selfish and try to hold them and say, I was the king of L.A., because I was never the king of L.A., but I was a facilitator of L.A., and I made a whole lot of kings in this city that we love so much. So, yes, L.A. Chronicles is about a birth of an empire, a birth of the people who wanted something special for themselves. The dudes who came from Marshalls to start off, who was running all the jewelry stores just to get paid, just to make sure they was able to eat every day. The girls who had their Louis bags, who was using to dress the dudes. My God, it's just so much in L.A. Chronicles that it wouldn't take away from nobody in the streets, because everybody in the streets was there. They was there. They was getting their half. They getting their piece of meat to eat. Everybody wasn't sleeping on the cold ground. Everybody was willing and able to take on the challenge of life. And when life came our way and it threw themselves at us, the only thing they got back at us was the story of a lifetime that everybody been holding back on. So now, L.A. Chronicles is coming out. It'll be out by the 19th of May, but I won't have it in stores till like June 20th, because I got to do something special. I got to grab this what do they call those book signing parties?
Right.
The book signing party is gonna be off the chain. When I say off the chain, the book party is gonna be so far off the chain that every gang, every player, every hustler, every girl who called themselves a part of the 80s and the 70s is going to be in those high heels looking how about this how we used to look. We ain't talking about the 80s. We talking about the 70s and the 80s merged together as one to tell the story on how South Central really got down. So, Daryl, it ain't nothing we can't say about the 80s. And I got Ira on the side of him because he may want to say something to collaborate what I just said, because when he had L.A. Chronicles and he had Cobra Enterprise, he already knew that L.A. was the birthplace of all the players.
Can I ask you one question?
Sure, you can ask it to me.
In L.A. Chronicles, so you're dating back from the time, and it seemed like this is a time of a timeline of going back from the early 70s as a young man growing up in South Central L.A., getting game from older, respectable men at that time as well?
So let me clarify it so we don't have a misunderstanding. I got 7 godfathers.
Yeah.
It's Tootie Reese. It's Jap. It's Cuz. It's Bill Jones. Yes, those some food. It's Blue. It's Eddie McFadden. It's Howard Johnson. And it's only one I can't give up, and I refuse not to say his name. It's Harry Jenkins, the Don of the East Side. And these was my godfathers. These was my mentors. And all of them was the godfathers of L.A. They had all the heroin in the whole city in the 70s. It was dudes out of New York. Eddie Matthews, he called down here to get him some heroin. And when he called down here, these old dudes was lined up, but they was young dudes, and they was in the game, and they was teaching me how to be a man at an early age. And I sat there, and I soaked it all up. They slapped me on the back of my head, and they molded me to be what I am today. And when I sat back, I pay homage. In the book, I pay homage to them. Yes, I done got in some wars with them, because I wasn't gonna Daryl, I wasn't gonna stand on the back of the line like the Josh and the rest of them had to stand on the back of the line to get a sack. I went and stole me some money, and when I stole the money, I got me a sack. And they had a war with me because they told me, nah, you're supposed to stand, you're supposed to be like the rest of the boys. I said, nah, I can't, because I'm off Broadway. And Broadway dudes don't stand in line. Not at our generation. Because my army was so big because they was my little homeboys and we was only 10, 13. And we didn't wait in line for nobody. And from this day on, all of them became kings in their own right. And when I touched LaRue and the rest of them, they became kings. So you got to understand and put this in consideration. When I'm talking about L.A., the birth of an empire, I'm talking about the young generation that came up in the 70s. They grew, they matured, and they became special. That's why
and
L.A. Chronicle.
They respected the other hustlers, older men, right?
You know,
respect the Godfathers, right?
Yes, you always respect your Godfather.
Like to me that it was some chain of command and some organization.
Well, you know, the old Godfathers had rules that you had to stand in line before you can get in the game. And you know, it's always been against the rules to tell. And the old Godfathers, they installed that in us. And we stuck by their guns. I don't know what happened when I went to the prison in 85, but the rules changed. But the game never changed. The game is still the same game as it is today, Daryl. If you tell, you lose your stripes in life. And you're supposed to go to the sideline and relax and stay away from the game. And you're not supposed to be on center stage, never again, because you broke all the oaths of the rules of the game. And this game right here is to be sold, not to be told. And these dudes have violated it so badly that sometimes dudes hop on TV who open their mouths and they know they have no business being on TV because the rules that they broke is against everything that they live for and what they stand for. So now they should be in the back of the line, not even coming up for any air again, because those is the rules that we played under when we was kids, like our mother told and our father told us, against the rules to tell. So here we are today. Me and Ira, we sitting back looking at each other smiling because we went to the penitentiary, did our time, we came home, and we still have positioned ourselves to be on top of the world because the game that we play in, it take care of you in the end. So I'm going to pass this to Ira and let Ira finish up.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thanks,
thank you, Mr. Whitey.
You're always welcome.
You really gave the history about why the streets of L.A. if L.A. ain't going by the rules of hustling and getting money.
Hey, this is what we do.
Put that in perspective. As a young man, young crews need to listen to this. Call on your radio station. I'll pass the word.
Yeah, pass the word to them. Tell them if they want some lessons, they need to tune in to the Green Believers streaming live.
And shout out to the youngsters that are willing to slow down and listen to it. Listen to the older game because that's when it was pure. That's when it was honest. And that's when it was teaching involved. And you didn't have
lifestyle, was it a lifestyle of just enjoying yourself and seeing everybody get money, enjoying their lifestyle, right?
Enjoying money, nobody's getting hurt. We were making millions of dollars hitting jewelry stores from L.A. to New York and Maine and Vermont, and it's just something that caught fire. We on the west side of L.A. we started a new technique of hitting jewelry stores and insurance companies that didn't involve guns, didn't involve anybody getting frightened or hurt. It was just us against insurance companies, and we went at it full bore for a couple of decades, at least 20 years. I had a 30-year run, and once I finished my 30-year run, I started writing. After my last Fed bid, I did a 2-year bid because I put 1,300 pieces of jewelry in the mail in Cleveland, Ohio, in 2 different packages, and that got slid over to the side by the postal inspector. I caught heat for that, and got a 2-year bid out of that. And when I got out of that bid, I just started writing. I was in a halfway house, and I started writing, and now I'm on my 11th book. I just finished my 11th book in 6 years. Okay, and I got people in studios that are in charge of green lighting television projects telling me that, hey, you have a 2-hour pilot to do. Let us have it by June. That doesn't happen to just anybody. People write for decades and never get the chance to talk to anybody that's in control of a television studio or any type of production. I'm trying not to, get overly excited about it. I'm just doing what they asked me to do: create, come up with stories, and make those stories plausible and attractive enough to put into production. It's my first one. Yes. And I'm hoping, believe it's going to be a success. And it's an interesting character. It's a legal drama, actually. It's a legal and a detective drama. And it's a lifestyle of a true person. And that's what I'm out in Los Angeles for. I live in North Carolina, but I'm in Los Angeles to produce this pilot. And that's coming from somebody that's done enough time and done enough jury stores to write the book, which is Super Thieves. That's go to Amazon, Ira Tillman, Super Thieves, and you're gonna get a book that you're going to cherish and pass along to your folks and recommend it. It's in the system. It's in the feds. It's in all these state joints, and they tell me that it's the hottest book on the tier wherever it's at. People are reading it 2 and 3 people at a time. They're sharing the book and reading it multiple people at a time. And that is the funniest thing to me, because I never thought I would be in this position to say something like this. But I'm a writer.
Yeah. Well, at least they taking time out to consider consider you being behind the bars and have enough intelligence and maturity to change your life, and maybe just to help those to be able to go to write a book on their own.
Exactly.
Write journals.
And my email address is iratillman2 at Gmail. At Gmail. What I want you to do is get Super Thieves, and I want you to email me and let me know how you felt about it. Okay. It's Super Thieves. It's out on Amazon, Borders, and it's 1990. It's 1995 on Amazon, but you're going to enjoy it. I guarantee you're going to enjoy it, and you're not going to put it down.
All right. Well, thank you, brothers, for enlightening me on your future success, on your books, and I really appreciate you.
Just look out for L.A. Chronicles, Birth of the Empire.
L.A. Chronicles.
Thank you, brother, for calling in.
Okay. Have a blessed one.
You too, also. Yeah, but the whole thing is based on what we're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
If we can't cover the other ground, let's build a new ground.
Exactly.
The ground is based on restaurants, books, and entertainment. And once people understand that when one door closed, a whole lot of new doors open. And these doors have opened to us right in everybody's eyesight. And they saying, how are you guys in the restaurant business, in the book business, in the production business? Well, we there because we want to be there. And we got enough talents to be there.
Talent is the word.
We have enough talent to be there. And we have enough talent and enough intellect where we can go back and relive what happened in the past. We're not hiding from what happened like most people do. We're telling the stories on what happened so everybody can see this right here, how it really went down. So a whole lot of people is rewriting history and putting themselves in places they've never been before. And today, and when these new books come out, you're going to see that none of these characters that you guys setting back virtualizing around here was never in the beginning of the crack era. They didn't even know what freebase was. They never knew what the name was. They didn't know that cocaine costed $60,000 a key. They didn't know that heroin costed $110,000 a key. These are the prices that they had never known, and they could never put their mind to wrap around their brain. because this is what we did. They didn't understand that we ran in stores and took the whole counter of Rolexes and walked out of them. And they didn't understand that when we went into a jewelry store, the jewelry store was broke because we was there to break the jewelry store because we was on a mission. It's one scene in the book that you're going to like. The scene is that we walked in a jewelry store, and the jewelry store had guards, and we couldn't do nothing about it. But it was 6 o'clock at night, and the night was right. The day was perfect, and rain was coming down. Dark came down, dark came in. And when we looked up, we did something that nobody never think of. We went down the street and got a chain. And the door was closed, so we chained the door in and broke the window and took all the jewelry out of the display case. So this is part of LA Chronicles that you can never think of. This is LA Chronicles, the birth of empire and all ways of hustling. How you doing, caller? This is Whitey from Whitey's Enterprise. Caller. Hold on, caller. Caller. He must hung up. But this is the whole thing. Caller.
Yes.
Hello, how you doing? This is Whitey. How can I help you today, my brother? I can't hear you. Speak up, please.
You can't hear me?
Now I can
you hear me now?
I can hear you now, player.
Okay, yeah. Mr. Whitey, when's your book when your book is coming out?
My book should be out by June 1st or 3rd, somewhere in there. The paperwork.
Okay, where can I purchase the book at? Online or
you're gonna end up purchasing on Shopify, where I sell all my other material on, and you're gonna be able to get LA Chronicles, and I will be talking about the 70s and the 80s. I would be talking about when we was walking the streets, and we was running up in jewelry stores. I'm gonna be talking about when we was on 56 in Main selling heroin on the corner. I'm gonna be talking about all this kind of things, right? I'm gonna be popping it, and I'm gonna let everybody know that the dudes like Terry and White Boy Lester and the Ball and all those guys who was on the corners, who was moving their own way, and how they were so successful while other people were standing on the porch trying to figure out how to get the next dollar. That's when Knicks and Rollins was out, things like that. And we're gonna talk that talk. And when you read this book, it's gonna take you all the way back if you in that age period, and you're gonna be hollering about some. Wow, I remember that like yesterday. And then they're gonna be talking about all the girls. I mean, the Deans, the Yayas. They're gonna be talking Mazelles. They're gonna be talking about all these girls who was using their Louis and who was just taking over the game. This was gonna happen. Yes, I'm still here.
Yeah.
So this
good.
So this is what they're gonna be talking about. Something that you can live with, that you can say, I was there. So that's what LA Chronicle is all about.
Oh, okay. LA Chronicle. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I'm very interested. I want to get that book and everything because you have to go back in history and everything, and find out how things occur and everything like that, and then apply to modern time right now.
Yes, today I'm letting everybody know that if you want to talk to me, go to 310-910-9676, and we could talk about LA Chronicles for a minute, and you could talk about the LA that we knew of, and I would tell you how I became a kingmaker, and Ira can tell you how he became a kingmaker. We could sit back and tell you how we became kingmakers, because we're not the king of LA. It's never going to be a king of LA. It don't even exist. A king of LA is unheard for, and whatever idiot say it out of his mouth that he's a king of LA, it's too many people trying to chop his head off for making that statement.
Yeah. He's a retard.
Yes, he is.
So exactly.
So this is how we get down in LA. All of us always been in the game to support each other and look at each other shine. So at the end of the day, the Crips, the Bloods, the players, the hustlers, they took this game on the road. And they made everybody look at them and say, what has happened? And these LA dudes, they didn't have enough time to do no game banging because they was too busy getting some money and looking good. And I can say that because I was there, I seen it, and I created in a whole lot of ways to make them special. That's why I said LA Chronicle is the birth of an empire. And I think I did birth an empire that I am worthy to say that I was a part of every movement that was there, because I was always there to guide them in a manner when they needed some guiding. But I wasn't their king, and I was just a regular player, just like they was.
Yeah, the thing about it, a lot of people need to learn the truth, what's going on. You got a lot of people sending a whole bunch of lies on social media, saying he this, saying he that, and then you got dudes on there with these household names claim to be something, and they're not, all that. You're a tough guy, but when you go in that courtroom, you're no longer that tough guy.
Oh, no. They break the rules.
They break the rules and everything like that and everything. And then they come out here, won't get on social media talking like they're a big giant and everything like that, and they this and that. But dang, you saying you're not right,
Nah.
People, people like they're not right, man. Like, man, there's paperwork on them and everything like that, and they need to be exposed like that, man. Separate from the real and from the fake.
Well, in Lifetime, bro, everybody end up getting their number called, because there's so many gangsters in the world who's real gangsters who sit on the sideline and just look at them, just shake their head and say, it didn't go that way. It didn't go that way.
Yeah.
And we know it didn't go that way. So, man, we can't do nothing about what the young kids want to believe. But LA Chronicles, I hope everybody go pick it up and read it, and they're going to understand that LA Chronicles go from 1973 all the way to 1992 before I got locked up, and that's what I could speak of in those areas.
Right.
So I thank you for calling in, because it's about time for me to close this show. I appreciate you. I'll be on this air every Wednesday at 2 o'clock. And call in, and I'm here, to answer any questions that needed. And like I said, my way is guiding everybody to the top, nowhere near the bottom. Thanks for calling in, my brother.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Hey, bro, it's about time for us to close this door.
Oh, man, it was a beautiful day, man.
Man, I had a lovely day today. And I want to talk about LA Chronicles. I'm going to be talking about LA Chronicles for the next month. And I'm going to get you to be talking about the great story that you wrote on Hugh Jackson and all the other books that you got going down. And it's a pleasure and an honor just to have you and be a part of your program.
Man, I appreciate you, man, and what you do for the community. And I'm about to go straight to the hamburger stand as soon as you take me back. So I'm hungry as heck right now. And but what you do, man, and in the fashion that you do it in, you don't just talk about it. You get right out there and get it done. Like you said, you formed a concept of a eatery and a restaurant and a hamburger stand, and 40 days later, it's up and going.
Hey, you know so, you know how they say it.
It's just you're prolific. As I'm prolific in my writing, you're prolific in implementing your ideas, and only good things are going to come from that. And as long as we all keep it 100 and positive. Well, that's the thing. And we have a date later this month. I'm shout it out there. Your film crew is coming with me to interview the subject of the pilot. I'm about to get together and put down for Hillionaire Productions, and we're going to partner up again.
Hey, G-Con Production.
Everybody's got to eat.
G-Con Production. G-Con Production is a G-Con Production. And it's all about us building each other, making sure that we get the right material so nobody just don't take nothing from us for what we give out. So this is Whitey's Enterprise, the Green Believers. This is what we do every Wednesday at 2 o'clock. Tune in. We're going to be talking about LA Chronicles, the birth of the empire. This is going to be going on for the next month. And we're going to be talking about Just Poppin'. Just Poppin' is one of the best hamburger stands just open, black owned. Come down, taste a burger, taste some chicken, taste some pudding, some banana pudding. We gotta, if you people know of Black Dave come off of 46th and Central. He died on the boat early in 1988. And he's one of those kings of the city that I can officially say he's one of those kings of the city. It's Harry O's brother, and Harry O is one of those kings of the city. And he was made a king because he went in the same route that Whitey's Enterprise came from. So again, like always, Whitey's Enterprise, the Green Believers, we signing off. Take care of yourself. Stop by Just Poppin' on 25th and Central Avenue. Take care, love, peace, and happiness.